You know how it is? You've got all this information flying at you, maybe from different sources, and you just want the key stuff, the things that really stick.
Yeah, totally.
Well, that's exactly what we're aiming for here at the Deep Dive. You've sent over some really interesting material, all centered on Doctrine and Covenants, section 45. So let's get right into it and pull out what feels most important.
Sounds good. And it's not just about, reading the words on the page. It's more about grasping those core ideas in section 45. What do they actually mean for us today?
Right.
We're going to touch on Jesus Christ as our advocate, such a powerful concept. And then what it means for the gospel to be a standard.
Okay.
And of course, the second coming, the warnings and the hope there. Plus, standing in holy places and Zion, what that means now.
And it's a great mix of sources you've shared. We have section 45 itself, obviously, but also the Come Follow Me guide for this week.
Which is helpful because it pulls in thoughts from Elder Renlund, President Nelson.
Yeah, and hymns, videos, other scriptures. It connects the dots.
Yeah.
So our mission, like always, is to make this clear, make it valuable, without getting bogged down in, super dense religious jargon. Just the essential understanding.
Let's do it.
Okay, so first up, Jesus Christ as advocate. Verses 1 to 5 really kick this off.
Yeah, they do. And that word advocate, it's got some weight, doesn't it?
It really does.
Maybe think of it less like a lawyer in a courtroom trying to find loopholes.
Right, not like that.
It's more like maybe a family member who deeply believes in you, knows your potential, but also sees your struggles and pleads for you based on Christ's perfect understanding. How do those first few verses strike you thinking about it that way?
Well, the directness, for one. Hearken, ye people who profess my name, it's immediate. And then the focus on him pleading our cause, verse 3 is just so explicit. Listen to him who is the advocate with the Father, who is pleading your cause before him. It feels really active.
Active, yeah. Intentional. He's doing it.
Exactly. And then in verses 4 and 5, like you hinted, ground it all in his sacrifice, his obedience. So what is it about that his perfect life and atonement that actually qualifies him to be our advocate?
Well, that's really the crux of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because he did everything the Father asked, perfectly, even the hardest parts. That ultimate sacrifice. He embodies both justice and mercy completely.
Okay.
He's not just some neutral party. He gets it. He's been through it, And he has the infant merit to stand up for us. Elder Renlund in that talk, Choose You This Day, he makes a really stark contrast.
Oh, yeah.
He points out that Christ advocates for our growth, our eternal progress based on truth. Lucifer, on the other hand, he's the accuser, always trying to point out flaws, condemn.
Ah, that's a powerful distinction, seeing them side by side like that.
It really clarifies the Savior's motive. It's love.
Yeah. And the other scriptures listed here, 2 Nephi 2, Mosiah 15, Moroni 7, D&C 29 and 62, they seem to build on this. Is there like a phrase or an idea from one of those that really clicks for you on this?
I always come back to Mosiah 15, verse 9. It says, And because of the intercession for all men come unto God. Wherefore they stand in the presence of him, to be judged of him according to the truth and holiness which is in him. What hits me there is, his intercession isn't about hiding us from judgment. It actually enables us to stand before God.
Oh, interesting.
Because his goodness, his merits are applied to us. It's about bringing us to God, ready for that judgment, not shielding us from it, if that makes sense.
No, it does. That adds a whole different dimension. And, the materials also mention the hymn, I Stand All Amazed, and the Gospel Library has stuff on the atonement and that video, the mediator.
All great resources.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out later for anyone listening to let this idea of advocate really sink in. Okay, shifting gears a bit. The next theme that jumped out from section 45 is the gospel as a standard. That's in verses 9 and 10.
Right. And standard has kind of a cool history. The notes mentioned back in the day was literally a flag, a banner.
Like for armies?
Exactly. Something physical to rally around. A symbol of who you were fighting for, your purpose.
Okay.
But it also means, a measure, like a ruler or a benchmark you compare things against.
Ah, so two meanings, the rallying point and the measuring stick.
Yeah. And I think both are super relevant for the gospel.
Okay, so how does that play out? The gospel is the banner, bringing us together, that seems clear. But the other, meaning the rule, the measure, how do our personal covenants fit into that? How does that become our standard?
That's where it gets really personal, right? Those promises we make with God, our covenants, they become our individual standard.
Our personal banner almost.
Sort of, yeah, or our personal measuring stick. They define the path we've chosen, the values we're aiming for. They're like a reference point for our choices day to day. Think about it. How do the covenants you've made act like that for you, like a guide?
Hmm. That's a good question to pause on. It definitely makes it internal, not just external rules. Okay, so the bulk of this section, verses 11 through 75, really digs into the second coming.
Yeah, big chunk.
And it's a topic that can stir up, well, a mix of feelings. Even the scriptures sometimes sound contradictory, like Malachi calling it great, but also dreadful.
And Section 45 reflects that tension perfectly, I think. It doesn't shy away from the hard stuff, the warnings about tribulations and challenges before Christ returns.
Right.
But it's also packed with hope, really comforting promises for those who are trying to be ready. Could end up to hold both things in view.
Yeah, the balance, the come follow me stuff has that helpful table. Pairing prophecies with actions. Let's look at one. Verse 28 says, "A light, the gospel, shall come to those who sit in darkness." Okay, so that's the promise. What's the action paired with it in the next verse?
It's 29 is super direct. Receive the light and share it.
Simple but powerful.
Yeah, it's not passive. Oh, good, light's coming.
No.
It's, okay, I've received it, now what? Now I share it. It's a responsibility that comes with the blessing.
That really frames it as active participation. And speaking of preparation, President Nelson's counsel from that video, "Men's hearts shall fail them," seems really relevant here too. What was his main point about finding peace in potentially scary times?
He really focuses on anchoring ourselves to Jesus Christ, like firmly.
Okay.
His message is basically, if we build our faith in him, if we really try to keep his commandments, we can feel peace inside, even if the world outside is, chaotic or frightening.
So it's an inward focus.
Exactly. Build your spiritual foundation strong, and you won't be so easily shaken by external stuff. The video's in the Gospel Library. Definitely worth a watch.
Right.
It's about faith over fear.
That makes a lot of sense. Inner resilience through faith. Okay, let's move to standing in holy places. That's in verses 31, 32, and again in 56, 57. What do these verses tell us about getting ready for the Lord's return?
Well, they make you think, what is a holy place?
Yeah.
And what does it mean to not be moved? And it's key to realize holy places aren't just like buildings, temples, yes, absolutely central, but our homes can be holy. Our own hearts, really. Anywhere the Spirit can be felt.
So it's broader than just geography.
Much broader.
Yeah.
And not be moved.
That sounds like spiritual stability, doesn't it? Like being solid in your beliefs, in your commitment, no matter what storms come along.
Steadfastness.
Hmm?
Which makes you ask yourself, okay, what are my holy places? Maybe places I already recognize.
And maybe how can I make the places I am in more holy? Even if it's just my apartment or my office cubicle.
How do you do that practically?
Well, it's about inviting the Spirit, right? So maybe carving out quiet time for prayer, reading scriptures, filling the space with good music, good conversations, nurturing those positive relationships, little things that make a difference.
Intentional choices.
Exactly. And this whole idea connects really well with the parable of the 10 virgins in Matthew 25. The resources mention this too.
With the oil and the lamps.
Yeah. And the oil is often seen as representing truth or the Holy Spirit or both.
So if you think about needing oil to keep your lamp burning, what does that suggest about preparation?
That it's not a one-shot deal. You can't just fill it up once and be done.
Right, it's constant, daily, seeking truth, staying close to the Spirit, drop by drop, keeping that inner light going.
That's a great visual. And Elder Bedmar's talk, If You Had Known Me, is flagged as another good resource there. Okay, last main theme, Zion, as a place of safety. Verses 11:15 and 66:71 touch on this.
Yeah, and the early saints were really focused on this idea of building Zion, the New Jerusalem. You see it in Ether, in Moses, this ancient hope.
A physical city.
Initially, yes.
Yeah.
And Section 45 talks about Zion, referencing Enoch City, which was literally taken
It's an
up.
amazing story.
But also looking forward. What does Section 45 tell us about Zion for us in the latter days?
Well, it seems like while there's that historical aspect, the core principle is about building God's kingdom here and now.
Exactly.
And the crucial part for us today is that building Zion isn't just about one specific spot on a map anymore. It's something we do wherever we are.
Precisely. It's become less about geography and more about community, about character, creating places of faith, unity, love, support, living God's laws together.
So it's about the people and the spirit of the place.
Absolutely. Which brings it right down to the individual level again.
Yeah.
The practical question is, what can I do right where I am in my circumstances to help build that kind of community, to contribute to Zion.
Makes it very actionable. It's not some far-off thing, but daily choices, interactions. Oh, and just quickly, the historical context notes mention Joseph Smith, the Morley Farm.
Right, where this revelation, section 45, was actually received.
And he was working on the Joseph Smith translation of the Bible around that time.
Yeah, heavily involved in that project. That context, the translation work, the setting at the farm, it definitely adds flavor, understanding to the revelation itself.
Good background to keep in mind. So, wrapping this up, yeah, we covered a lot.
We did.
Jesus Christ as our advocate, pleading for us. The gospel as our personal standard, our guide.
Yeah.
The second coming, facing it with preparation and faith, and not just fear.
Standing strong in our own holy places.
Yeah, building that inner resilience and the ongoing work of building Zion, wherever we happen to be.
It's a rich section. Lots of direction, lots of comfort, too.
Definitely. Hopefully this deep dive pulled out some key insights for everyone listening, made it feel manageable and relevant.
That was the goal. It really speaks to our own faith journeys, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And how we live together as believers.
It really does. Okay, so here's a final thought to maybe chew on after this. Thinking about that idea of standing in holy places, what's maybe one small intentional change you could make in your daily routine or even just your physical surroundings to invite a bit more peace, a bit more spiritual connection into your life?
Good question.
Just something to ponder. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. We're already excited about the next one.
Me too. Thanks, everyone.
When shadows fall and hearts are warm, when silence lingers near the storm, he pleads for me with hands so scarred, my advocate before the stars. He knows my name, he bears my pain, his grace restores my soul again. He is a light shining in the dark, a banner of peace igniting the spark. When all around me starts to shake, I'll stand in holy places for his sake. Hope is the song my soul will sing. I'm safe in the promise of the King. The world may reel, the heavens groan, but Zion rises stone by stone. The standard raised, a gathering call. He lifts the lowly, welcomes all. The trumpet sounds, the veil will part. Joy like thunder fills my heart. He is a light shining in the dark, a banner of peace igniting the spark. When all around me starts to shake, I'll stand in holy places for his sake. Hope is the song my soul will sing. I'm safe in the promise of the King. The world may reel, the heavens groan, but Zion rises stone by stone. The standard raised, a gathering call. He lifts the lowly, welcomes all. The trumpet sounds, the veil will part. Joy like thunder fills my heart. He is the light shining in the dark, a banner of peace igniting the spark. When all around me starts to shake, I'll stand in holy places for his sake. Hope is the song my soul will sing. I'm safe in the promise of the King.